I think we all need a little bit of a lift of spirits. What do you all? Yes, yes. All right, let's think about love. Love is my religion. Go ahead, stand up, join me. Love is my religion. 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 And I'll take you to the temple tonight. All my days I've been searching to find out what this life is worth. Through the books and Bibles of time, I've made up my mind. I don't condemn, I don't convert. Oh no, this is the calling, have you heard? Bring all the lovers to the fold. No one is gonna lose their soul. Because now, love is my religion. 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 You can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe it. I don't want to fight. No, no. Hey, let's go fly a kite. There's nothing that we can cure. And I'll take you in my arms for sure. So don't let nobody stop us. Yeah, free spirits have to soar. With you I share the gift. That gift that we all know. Oh, 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 oh. Love is my religion. 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 But you can take it or leave it. You don't have to believe it. Well, I'm done searching now. Found out what this life is worth. Not in the books did I find, but by searching my own mind. I don't condemn, I don't convert. This is the calling, have you heard? Oh yeah, bring all the lovers to the fold. We are lovers here. No one is gonna lose their soul. Because, come on, love is my religion. 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 Well, you can take it or leave it. Now do you believe it? Good morning, Unity.
Good morning. Come on, one more time. Good morning. Awesome. Welcome to Unity in Chicago. My name is Kathy Mathis, and it is my pleasure and honor to welcome each and every one of you here this morning. In Unity, we bless and embrace people of every lifestyle, culture, and creed, and we honor and celebrate the many names for God, the many paths to God, and the many ways to celebrate and experience God. And we come together every week to celebrate that and the way that Spirit shows up in our lives as love and truth and joy. So, welcome. As we start our service, if you could each take a moment to put your electronic devices into meditation mode, that will be great. And as we start our services, we like to join our friends and family around the world in our daily word. And today's word is intentions. I pursue my intentions with faith, knowing all things are possible with God. Unity author H. Emily Cady wrote in Lessons in Truth, "Desire in the heart is always God tapping at the door of your consciousness. The thing you desire is not only for you, but has already been started toward you out of the heart of God." I recognize my intentions are more than wishful thinking. They are part of my purpose. Some may be long-term goals, requiring years of study, focus, and actions. My daily intentions may include helping a friend who is experiencing a serious challenge. Following this call to serve, I know I will be divinely supported with the right words to say and actions to take. I pursue my heartfelt intentions, for they are callings from Spirit to do more and be more. From Mark 10:27, Jesus looked at them and said, "For mortals it is impossible, but not for God. For God, all things are possible." And so this was from the Daily Word. If you would like to have your own daily serenity moment at home, we invite you to get the Daily Word here. We have one copy each of the regular and large size prints. You can get them in the Sunshine Gallery after the service. We also have the November-December issue here, so stop by and get that. And now let's welcome Reverend Heidi.
Happy Halloween. Yes. You know, we all have a costume in us of somebody or something that inspires us. So Dory's one of mine. Anybody in costume, please stand up so we can give you a round of applause, or you wore a fun shirt or something. All right. That's great. Very nice. That's great. You know, I feel like that commercial sometimes where, you know, you show up at the party. I thought this was a costume party. All right. So, and thank you, Peter. See, now if you're continuing, as we've all said I'm in, to do the big leap, you're leaping into your zone of genius, and it can feel really uncomfortable. It can feel kind of scary. It can feel like a shark coming after you sometimes. But as we know, Dory, in her spiritual awareness and her sense of all is well in her consciousness, she not only didn't get afraid of the shark, she ended up going to a meeting of the sharks where they were committed to saying, "Fish are friends, not food." Fish are friends, not food. Yes, so I just invite you, as we will be talking today about the big leap that you're really leaping. And I figured there couldn't have been any better conversation to have with all of you except for Dory speaking to you. So I got my eyes on you, just saying. All right? And I'll talk about what a stretch it is to come to work in your pajamas later in the talk. Okay, so let's just close our outer eye and open our inner eye into this beautiful now moment of life. We have committed to expanding our sense of our genius, of our creativity, of the juiciness of life that is in every cell of your body. Life is not about what you do, what you produce, how many degrees you have. That's all fine and dandy, but what really matters is your connection with your own heart and allowing that connection to connect with the hearts of others. So Unity in Chicago is a place where you get to relax and to remember and to restore, to relax into that sense of wonder, of value, of wholeness. This is a place where we remember who we are so we actually can be the light in the world that we're born to be. So feel really good about yourself for showing up here today in a place that loves you as you learn to love yourself. And if you repeat after me, I am. God is. We are. And I just keep swimming. And we breathe in, and so it is. Yes. And so I invite you, we are really uplifting our spirit. We know that I did actually, Cubs flip-flops, all right? So we are just allowing the spirit of the city. We're holding ourselves up and this team, but really we recognize that the winner is in all of us. And so this is what we do. We remember who we are, and we play in that sense of wellness. So we're going to light our candle over here. That is the light of God within you. And as a fish speaking today, when you look at a lake, when you look at an ocean, you just see the top part of it, right? But as a scuba diver and as a fish, there's a whole life underneath the surface of the water. There's plants and animals and colors and experiences, and it's the same with our soul, with our light, with our creativity. So in that sense, I'd like you to put your hand on the area of your heart, and let's breathe in. I'd like you to breathe into, if you wore a costume, if you wanted to be a fun character in life, what would that be? And what is it about Dory or any character that you love in life that inspires your child, that sense of wonder? And then we say, with that sense of wonder and silliness, I am the light of the world. Together, I am the light of the world. And then I'd like you to look at your neighbor and remind them who they are. You are the light of the world. And just recognize, just by sitting here together, there is an energy that's happening that wasn't here when it was just me, or when it was just DC, or whenever it is. We come together and something happens. Spirit connects, and it gets greater. Where two or three are gathered. So in our sense of we are the light of the world, I'd like to put your hands up, send it out to our sweet city, all of our fans, all of our Cubs fans, the wonderful team, the teams. There's other teams in this city, but mainly just to recognize that the light is going on within people. No matter what's happening outside of you, it's always going on inside of you. So we send that energy out to the world, and we say, we are the light of the world. Together, we are the light of the world. And knowing that we are living in our zone of genius, as we recognize that playfulness and wonder within us, we're going to stand up and we're going to say, I see a genius in you, all right? Okay, we'll say that to each other. Well, I'm glad you're telling yourself the truth about yourself. That's great. All right, so we are so blessed on Sundays where we get to really experience the power of community, and that is with our choir. When they sing by themselves, they sound beautiful, but when they come together, it is awesome. And so they're led by Scotty Zocker, and let us welcome Higher Ground. I bless you and you bless me too. Can we give the higher ground? Yes. Wow. My name is Dory. I used to have an upper limit problem. My upper limit problem was that I had short-term memory loss. And I used to feel really bad about myself. I used to say it ran in my family. At least I thought it did. I couldn't remember. But what I noticed eventually is when people had problems, and people tended to have problems around me, that I couldn't really focus on the problem because I couldn't even remember what it was. So I did a lot of singing. I did a lot of cheering people up. I did a lot of swimming. Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Do you have a story about not being okay, something being wrong with you, a problem that you've had for a long, long time? I wonder if you couldn't remember it. I wonder if you weren't even thinking about it. I wonder how your life would be if you couldn't remember all these problems and challenges. I think we should just keep swimming. I want to just keep swimming. Can we say that together? I want to just keep swimming. So, yes. Kind of a miracle I'm here out of water talking with you about a zone of genius. Just keep swimming. But then again, you have a book that has a fish right on the front of it. So maybe this is a story of leaping, of not even maybe physically leaping, but the sense of leaping in your heart, of really experiencing something brand new about yourself. It does take a lot of energy. That's for sure. Today, being Dory and all, I'm going to talk with you about not only living in your zone of genius, but making a home in your zone of genius. And home, you all, when you come here, it's called your home on Thome, because many people feel at home here. When you move into a home, you put all your things all over the walls, right? It's kind of like not yours till you start putting that thing up on the wall. You know, I have a saying on the wall. Well, of course, I have just keep swimming. And then I have another one that says, let's see, what does it say? I think one of them says, with God, all things are possible. There's another one that it's going to have to, see, I have short memory. Yeah, so it'll come to me, for sure. But one thing I noticed also about my life being Dory is I always remember what I need to remember right at the right time. So perhaps that upper limit story really wasn't true. The true part of me was that I kept talking about just keep swimming, about being at home with the person I was. And right there in the middle of home is the word om. Now what I've heard is it is this primordial sound of the universe. Om. Why don't we try to sing it together so you don't even have to think about it. Let's just do it, all right? So om, together 3 times. Om. Delicious. One more time. 2 more times. Om. One more time. So however you're feeling right now, that's your home. That's your zone of genius. It's a feeling of connection. It's a feeling of I am that I am. It's a feeling of I didn't have to think about that. I didn't need a certain degree to do that. It just came through me. Anybody have to struggle with that? But I wonder how much we struggle with life. I know I used to struggle a lot. So I have a list of the things that you've learned. It was passed down to me from Reverend Heidi, who would never show up in her pajamas for work. Oh, God. So here are some things that we have learned, or you all have learned, in the last 5 weeks. And before we talk about how you can anchor this in a feeling of home, let's look at these things. We have one problem. And what is it again? A limit problem, yes. And we're understanding that that's really just running into the wall of what you know about yourself. And anytime there's something new you want to try, a new experience you want to have, you're always going to run into that wall. So we start to that's why just keep swimming. Because as we allow that wall to move, we get to experience more and more of ourselves. So there's the one solution, a solution to that problem, that's keeping an open mind. Keeping an open mind. I've invited you, or Heidi invited you, to keep an open mind until we complete this course, which is Thanksgiving. Then you go right back to your closed mind if you want to. But you've all said, I'm going to keep an open mind, and you've said, I'm in. All right, so let's do this again. I'm in. And look at your neighbor so they can see that it's the truth for you. I'm in. Let's say it to your neighbor. I'm in. All right. A lot of fish in this beautiful sea. This is fabulous. All right. I'm in. All right. So building a home in our zone of genius. We've recognized this problem can't be solved. We all love to solve problems. Let's read another book. Let's figure this thing out, although you don't want to read this book, yes. But we want to solve problems. But what we really know happens to problems is they dissolve as you have your awakening. I have seen people that come in really short period of time. Let me tell you what's going on with me. Challenge. I've told you about a lady that said, I got to talk to you this afternoon. I said, well, I've got another appointment. I can't talk. And 3 days later, she called me. She said, it's not even going on in my life anymore. I'm like, well, that saved us all a lot of time, didn't it? Right? But because she was practicing her spiritual awakening, her zone of genius. All right, so what else? So we know it's going to be dissolved. It's also that you will experience you in your zone of genius. Did you feel that sense of you when we were doing the Om? We know that the higher ground, they're all experiencing themselves. I promise you, none of them are thinking, gosh, did I pick up soy milk yesterday or almond milk or whatever you use? They are here in their zone of genius. They're present. All right, so your genius is not about smarts. It's about a feeling of connection. We want to pay attention. This is paying attention to the things like I had to really look at how much I would say I have short-term memory loss and feel bad about it, rather than this is an experience I have, and perhaps the gift of my life comes through having short-term memory loss. So we pay attention to our ULPs, our upper limit problem behaviors. We relax into them, and we know they will be dissolved and reveal our genius. And finally, it's not up there, but because our genius is always evolving, I thought of this after I made the slide, is that we're asking ourselves wonder questions. I wonder what it would be like if I kept swimming a little more. I wonder what it would be like if I stayed in contentment a little bit more. I wonder what it would be like if I quit beating myself up for what I would call an upper limit problem. I wonder what my life would feel like. I wonder if I could live in peace all the time. Wow, I would really be a new fish. Yeah, I would be a whole new person if I lived in peace all the time, you may be saying to yourself. So how do we continue and how do we make a home in this zone of genius? Now see, once I recognized that my genius came from not pulling in the past all the time and not getting concerned about things because I couldn't remember them anyway, I realized that the genius that is Dory was really attractive to people. Because if you'll notice, the movie many years ago, Finding Nemo, was little fish Nemo was lost, and his dad, Marlin, and I became friends, and we finally found Nemo. Of course, they called him Mario and Flavio and Spaghetti-O because they kept forgetting his name, or I kept forgetting his name. But it didn't matter because we stayed on our path, right? But who did they make a sequel about? Not Mario, not Nemo or Marlin. They made a sequel about me, right? Because my energy of not hanging on to the past is really what spirituality is all about. It's recognizing that, yes, things are going to happen. We're going to have what we call problems. But truly, and what Jesus was teaching, and he teaches in the fish kingdom too, is that it's never about stopping. It's never about anything that's bigger than the spirit of who you are. So we're asking ourselves the question today, what is my genius? And how do I live in my genius? It'll be the next question there is, what is my genius? And how can I bring forth my genius in ways that serve others and myself at the same time? Now, I tell you, your genius is always going to be silly. It's often going to be unpredictable. I had a Cubs outfit I was going to wear today in which I was very comfortable. And then I went to Target to get my flip-flops, and here was Dory hanging on a hanger. And I put Dory on in the fitting room, and I took a picture of myself, and I sent it to one of my girlfriends, and I said, now this would be a big leap to be Dory at church. I don't think I can do it. And she said, Heidi, get over yourself. Wear your costume, because Dory is inspiring to you. And so, see, this was not in ministerial school. No class on how to wear your pajamas to work. So, but I knew that the genius comes out of our silliness. And I still feel uncomfortable, but I recognize that there's a point. There's a method to the madness. And what I'll say is your genius is always going to be that kid in you that wants to be revealed, because some people may like, this is ridiculous, but the idea is that we do serve others immediately when we live in our zone of genius. So if you really want to help other people, recognize that gift in you, that playfulness in you that always wants to be revealed. All right, now I'm going to show you a clip because, again, I was the character with Marlon, because Marlon was worried. Marlon brought back Marlon worries from the beginning of the time a Marlon was ever made. And so Marlon had the opportunity when his son was captured to work out his stuff, and he and I were a great team because I couldn't let Marlon go too far with his worry because I couldn't remember anything. And Marlon was able to direct me on a path of something that was really interesting to him. So we were a great team. And we're going to talk about how genius today, staying in your zone of genius and helping other people, we have to team up. We have to be there for each other. I will tell you, and I'll probably mention a couple of times, Wednesday night at 7, we have the most amazing group of geniuses that join, and you are welcome to jump in at any time. Genius is always waiting for you. And we had a lady that came in and was very concerned about her son. And I'd seen her a few weeks before. She looked really tired and exhausted. And she had this, she was just very challenged with her son. And I always ask, how old is your son? And she said, 32. I'm like, wow, I think he's okay, right? I mean, he and God have it all figured out. That's my favorite line. He and God have it all figured out. And I said, how would your life be if you weren't worried about him? I wonder what kind of energy would you create? Where is all that genius getting crimped because of that worry? And so she took a deep breath and she went off and she came back and she looked completely different. And she said, I had this remarkable conversation with my son. I said, worrying about you and trying to control your behavior is really wearing me out. And I don't think it's helping me or helping you. And by the way, you are 30-something to worry about you. And she said her son looked so relieved, right? And then she recognized how much of her life, and it had been set up maybe from her own parents, was engaged in this life of worry about this young man that needed to go and live his life, live his genius. And in her sharing about this story, that was the week before, and when she came back, someone else in the class said, and I could tell she was almost as vulnerable as I am standing here in the Dory outfit. It was uncomfortable to talk about it. But then when somebody came back last week and said, your story helped me with my own child. It gave me the courage to talk about the thing that I didn't want to talk about, and also look at the way that I was sacrificing my own genius through a habit, an upper limit problem. So that's your genius. It is sharing. It is looking at the ways that you really want your life to be different. I was just looking at the daily word. It says today from Emily Cady, desire in the heart is always God tapping at the door of your consciousness. The thing you desire is not only for you, but has already been started towards you out of the heart of God. Let's breathe into that, you know? How great that your challenge, your worry, is your doorway to your genius. Most of us want to avoid it. I spent years trying to avoid things with a bottle of alcohol. Never worked. Until I was, as I've said, locked up in the jail of my consciousness, and literally to have a moment to think about these things. And what happened was I recognized something so much more wanted to be born in me that I had not vibrated with completely. And so I'm just asking you that we are all doing this together. And now, the lady in the class and her son, I know, are in such a more real world of both people living in their genius. And so come Wednesday night, and let's do this thing together, because we don't do this thing alone. We certainly don't do this thing when we call our family to see how they're doing, because that is the pot of soup in which you were cooked. And you don't want to be in that pot of soup unless everybody's doing something different. And get this, and get the Big Leap. I think we only have 2 left, but do get this book, because it's a remarkable way to ask yourself the questions and do what we do. Here we go, So we can do that together. All right? Okay, and the other thing we've been doing is I am a lifelong learner. Together, I am a lifelong learner. Okay, so let's look how Marlon manifested Dory. And Dory's way of not being able to pay attention. I'll see that, or not being able to remember the problem. You know that Nemo was captured by a scuba diver, but the scuba diver dropped the scuba diver's mask. And so the address of the scuba diver was on the mask. And this mask disappears in this part of the film. And you'll see how conscious Marlon is and how conscious Dory is.
Would you drop it?
You dropped it! That was my only chance of finding my son. Now it's gone!
Hey, Mr. Grumpy Gills. When life gets you down, you know what you gotta do?
I don't want to know what you gotta do.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming, swimming. What do? We swim, swim.
Dorino singing.
I love to swim. And
Doreen.
When you want to swim, you want
See,
to
I'm gonna get stuck now with that song. Now it's in my head.
All right, yeah. See? When life gets you down, Mr. Grumpy Gills, what do? We just keep swimming. We just keep singing. Why don't we go, woo? Just like Dory. Let's do it together. Woo! Right, okay. So something shifted, I promise you. Right? But did we hear Marlon? And how many of us are there? That was the last chance. My life is over. This person broke up with me. This money went away. I got this kind of challenge of my body. It's never going to end. All right? And so the genius, and we all have the Marlon, and we all have the Dory, who comes along and says, what's wrong with you? Mask? I don't remember a mask. I don't remember that problem. I have my dear friend who is now our youth director, and so I talk to her all the time, but she's the Dory, right? And she calls me all the time, and, hi, Heidi, how's it going? Well, I'm like, well, the elevator is not working. Oh, well, what else is going on? And it's just all this bubble stuff, and it's great we put her in the youth department because, I can only take so much joy. But it is, oh, guys, I'm Dory, I forgot, right? So everybody, you got to have your Dory, because you're the Dory for some people, and you're the Marlin that needs Dory, right? And we've all been both places, right? I am a lifelong learner. Together, I am a lifelong learner, all right? And we're finding a home in the zone of genius. We're finding a home in these conversations. And I'd like to tell you that you're not finished yet. You are a work in progress. You are a joy in progress. You are an adventure in progress. So today is just a moment, right? And you are going to continue to grow and develop and have adventures and have fun and do new things. Find a home in your zone of comfort. We had our own. We have our sense of putting things in your life in which you're comfortable. And comfortable. You could be wearing your pajamas places that you never knew you would wear them. But the point is, how do you feel at home in this zone of genius, in this place? Because you can tell Marlon is really uncomfortable, isn't he? I don't want to sing. I want to be worried. We do that, don't we? We do that. And I'll tell you that nothing gets solved. Remember our guy Jesus? What did he say? Do not worry. Do not worry. He didn't say, oh, don't worry, but, if you lost your child, you better worry about that. Oh, don't worry, but like if I sing off tune or something, you better worry about that. Or don't worry if the Cubs lose, right? Just last night, one moment, today's a new day. We have a whole new opportunity. So the idea is, are we getting it? That this is light. This is easy. He talks about being graceful in this journey of being you. All right, so we'll get back to this. So I would like to talk about, because we are in baseball consciousness, the idea of a baseball player that discovered in living his zone of genius and be willing to be with the problem that he was having in life, through that, bonded with another person, and that they both became so much more than they were, just as Marlon and Dory did. All right, so this gentleman is a 23-year-old baseball player named Kyle Schwarber, right? I know many of you know about him. So let me tell you about Kyle, though. But Kyle had an injury. And through Kyle's injury, not only did he do some healing, he did healing not only on the physical level, he did a lot of healing on the spiritual level. And let me tell you about it. The letters would arrive every week in his mailbox at Wrigley Field. Chicago Cubs slugger Kyle Schwarber would carefully open the envelope, slowly read the message, and try not to cry. Sometimes Schwarber would even wait to open it, saving them for the darkest times when he needed him the most. There were plenty of those times, Schwarber said Thursday, but he was always there for me, always. I know he really likes, it's like down in the ocean, you hear a lot of noises. So I know he likes to say, I'm his inspiration, Schwarber said. Really, if you want to know the truth, he's my inspiration. The name is Campbell Faulkner, who lives with his parents in Queen Creek, Arizona. He's 10 years old. Faulkner is 4'11". He weighs 64 pounds, always engaged with an oxygen tank, a cough and suction machines, and a team of 13 doctors trying to cure a rare form of mitochondrial disease. This is the boy who is Schwarber's hero. And this young man who is Faulkner's inspiration. This is the young man who is Faulkner's inspiration. When I see what Kyle is doing, Campbell Faulkner told USA Today Sports, it gives me hope too. No one believed he could do it, but I kept praying for him. I kept sending him letters each week and telling him he could do it. Now he's done it, so I can do it too, right? He gives me hope. Schwarber's stunning comeback from reconstructive knee surgery 6 months ago is being called legendary by his teammates and front office staff. watching him go from 201 days without even swinging a bat in a game to getting 3 hits in 7 World Series at-bats, drawing 2 walks and missing a Game 1 home run by inches. Schwarber, who tore the ACL in his left knee, shrugs his massive shoulders. You want to be in awe? Go check out Campbell Faulkner's story, he says, and then come back to me. That's a person you want to look up to, says Schwarber, who met Campbell while signing autographs 2 years ago at the Cubs spring training camp in Mesa, Arizona. He's living life to his fullest, even though he's got something big to overcome. Faulkner was actually at the game the night of April 7th in Phoenix, where Schwarber and center fielder Dexter Fowler collided. Schwarber went down in a heap. He was carted off the field with his head down, and Faulkner stared ahead, not saying a word. When Kyle got hurt, he stopped talking, said his mother, Carrie Faulkner. Campbell bowed his head, took his hands out, and started praying. When the game ended, Campbell just sat there in complete silence all the way home. When they arrived home, Campbell wanted to see the replay. He wanted to see if it was as bad as he thought. He watched it without uttering a word and then began penning a letter to Schwarber. Kyle, I'm praying for you to get better, he wrote. If you need doctors, I've got the best doctors in the world at the Phoenix Children's Hospital, and I want to help you. Here's a boy too weak to walk on his own who needs braces just to take a few steps, but otherwise is confined to a wheelchair. He has one tube constantly connected to his stomach that feeds him and a suction machine to remove the waste. He needs to swallow 13 pills a day just to survive. And he's the one writing and praying for 23-year-old Schwarber, who needed nothing more than time to recover with one of the brightest futures in baseball. When Schwarber went to the Arizona Fall League last weekend to see if it was even possible for him to play in the World Series, few people were privy to the secret, but Campbell Faulkner was one of them. They met Saturday and they met Monday, each time holding one another, drawing strength from one another before Schwarber departed. Schwarber went to the World Series, and he was in the lineup, the starting lineup. Faulkner was lying on the family room couch watching every pitch, his body wrapped in a Cubs blanket. When he got that first hit, he made me happy, Campbell said. We were cheering. My family was running all around crazy. It felt like when I first met him. He gives me hope. He gives my family hope. That family calls themselves blessed, having a beautiful gift in Campbell. They tease him, but he is a beautiful, loving child. And when Schwarber presented him with his own black bat last weekend, the exact one he uses, KS10, 34 inches, 31 ounces, and autographed by Schwarber, Campbell emailed them a note 2 days later and said, thank you so much for the black bat, but would you mind if I don't keep it? I'd like to donate it to my favorite charity to help other children. Can you believe that? Schwarber says, how solid is that? That's Campbell Faulkner. And when Schwarber is introduced on Friday night, showered with applause from the frenzied crowd at Wrigley, you'll also be cheering for Campbell. Kyle told me that we're in the World Series together, Campbell said. We made it. Yeah, so let's talk about and breathe in, right? Yeah, where 2 or more are gathered. See, Kyle thought he was a baseball player in recovery. He probably got a lot of support from his fans, probably got a lot of support from his family. But here is this young man, this 10-year-old that was not going to be playing a sport anytime soon, but his spirit, his prayer touched Kyle so deeply. And Kyle needed that. Perhaps that was what allowed him to be in the World Series. And here's this young man in a wheelchair that needs to be pals with someone that is a professional baseball player. Now, what inspiration that is to him to see this man heal and go back and do his thing. See, that's where our genius is. And that they found one another, and what they did is they didn't just talk, they hugged each other. They loved each other. And that, my friends, is how we continue to make a home in our zone of genius. You know, when has it been that when you're needing healing, when something feels like this woman that talked about her son in our class, really confusing, really exhausting, that you're willing to share it with people? And you're willing to see how the movement, how breaking down that upper limit problem, genius is right here. It's the spirit that connects us all. It's the spirit that connects, so they're fanciful creatures, but Marlin and Dory. But who doesn't have Marlin and Dory moments all the time? And to recognize that it's not just about winning a game. It's lovely to win a game. But what's really important is that you recognize the winner is in you. The genius is in you. It always has, and just like our light, it always will be. I was really nervous I was going to turn around, that candle was going to be out. That would have been a bummer. But it doesn't matter. The light is always, always, always going on in you. But we have to have each other. And that is the beauty, that's the brilliance of the spiritual awakening, of the genius. That I can't do this, I'm a genius and you're not. That's why we all said to each other, I see the genius in you. So our question today is, where is your genius? What is your genius? And how do I keep not only living it, but knowing that it blesses other people when I live it? Tom Skinner recognized that our prayer box was too heavy. He was like the only guy that could carry it, or maybe Jerry too. But so he created a new prayer box. It's a light prayer box. And so the thing is, that's his genius, building a prayer box. Did it bless other people? Heck yeah. It's our prayer box, right? So thank you, Tom, for living in your genius, right? It's very, very, very simple. It's so simple that we often miss it. We keep criticizing ourselves for having short-term memory loss or whatever we think our challenge is. And the idea is that we'll always remember, just like Dory, what you need to remember when you need to remember it. It'll always come to you. It will always come to you. I just remembered what else I put on my wall. It's called Easy Does It. That's the other one. All right. So I'd like to put up some questions that I'd like to pose to you this week. They're in your book, and they're called your genius questions. And I'd like you to go somewhere this week that is peaceful for you. It could certainly be our garden. It can be any place that feels where you don't have any kind of feeling you have to be anybody other than yourself. And these are the questions I'd like you to work with. Again, they're in your book. But the question is, what do I love? What do I most love to do? And I'd even say, or to be, or to experience. What work do I do that doesn't seem like work? Right? How many of us say, I'm going to work and later I'll be in a good mood? Bring your genius to wherever, every place you go is a place where you're going to bless others and be blessed. In my work, what produces the highest rate of abundance and satisfaction to the amount of time spent? Next week, we're going to talk about Einstein time and being able to expand time just because of the power of your joy. And finally, what is my unique ability? You know, sometimes I think my unique ability is just to be a little weird, just to be a little out there, right? Because it occurs to me that it would be fun to wear a costume. It is Halloween, by the way. But the idea of how is it that we can be sillier and more in wonder and laughter and playfulness. Because life is this whole addiction of playing small is a big one. And it gets passed along from generation to generation. So I invite you to stop that. Stop that nonsense. Be the soul that you were born to be. And continue to grow in this fertile ground of creativity, of genius. I really hope you'll come Wednesday night at 7. We just get to play and have huge conversations. If not, get your book and sit down with somebody and answer these questions and let that genius appear. And let it be uncomfortable and strange and weird because it's just a part of you haven't experienced before. All right? So, I am a lifelong learner. Together, I am a lifelong learner. And we're making a commitment today to live in our zone of genius. So this one is, I live in my zone of genius. I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. Together, I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. And close your eyes for a moment, and then let's say that together, because it's really an internal commitment. I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. And let's breathe in. Then I'd like to leave you with one of my favorite quotes, because you will come to the end of what you know. You will come to the end of what you know every day about yourself. And then you will be asked, your genius will shine the light on the next place. So it says, when you get to the end of all the light you know, and it's time to step into the darkness of the unknown, we're doing that every day. Faith is knowing that one of two things shall happen. Either you will be given solid ground to stand on, something solid to stand on, or you'll be taught how to fly, or you'll be taught how to swim, or you'll be taught how to pray, or you'll be taught how to heal. But it will, like the breath that is breathing you right now, be there for you 100% of the time. Now is the time, and you are the one. I am a lifelong learner. Together, I am a lifelong learner. And if you're in, say I'm in. All right, give yourselves a hand for being here. Just keep swimming. All right, we are going to be in our time of reflection and integration of this energy that has been stirred up in you, whether it's Kyle or Dory or Marlon or the young man in the Cameron in the wheelchair, and just let that love, that juiciness flow in you as we sing our song together.
This is a new song, so I'll sing it once and then you all can join in. When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart, I open my heart. When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart, hallelujah. Join me. When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart, I open my heart. When I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart, hallelujah. Second verse. When I'm quiet in prayer, I let go of fear, I let go of fear. When I'm quiet in prayer, I let go of fear, hallelujah.
Breath into your genius. And just let your genius be that sense of connection. Maybe it's the connection to Dory. Just singing, just keep swimming. Just lift your heart. And it may be to the energy and story of Cameron staying focused and immediately getting out his pen and starting to write. Can I help you? I've got a lot of friends and doctors and people that can help you. So he came from a sense of fullness and wholeness and wellness, even though physically that is not his situation. He came from a place of love, and he did it right away. And what a blessing he was to a man who most people would think had it all figured out. And his prayer helped Kyle heal. So all of this is inside of each and every one of us. The connection, the service we have just by being who we are. Holding a prayerful thought about your own life, about the life of others. Getting into action by being willing just to hold and focus with benign vigilance, as we've learned, just to pay attention to the space in our heart where we want to love and where we want to share. And we keep breathing in, expanding that space that all of these creatures and people have inspired in us. So when I'm quiet in prayer, I open my heart, I let go of fear, and I let my genius naturally be present. We just breathe. We just be. And we enjoy the genius that is the essence of who we are. I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. You can just say that silently in your hearts as I say it together. I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. Let that be your mantra this week, and watch what those words bring out in you. Watch the playfulness and the wonder, the lightness, the ability to choose people that stir up that beauty in you and that you stir up in them. Your light was not meant to be under a basket. We take off the basket and hold that candle high, that light high, and say, I am the light of the world. I commit to living in my zone of genius now and forever. So it is done. You are committed. And now we let Spirit show us the way. I invite you to take the hand of your spiritual family, and we will sing our final verse with being quiet in prayer.
When I'm quiet in prayer, I see only love. I see only love. When I'm quiet in prayer, I see only love. Alleluia.
In this wonderful sacred space, we now speak the names of those we would like to hold in prayer. We also hold in prayer all the names behind us on the screen here. We give thanks right now for each member of this community, for Rev Heidi, the staff, volunteers, the board, and all others present. Here in this space, we are safe and brave to embrace our genius, our unique spirits, expressing Christ every single day. And so we say thank you, God. Amen.
And now in Spanish, por favor digamos los nombres de todas aquellas personas por las cuales nos gustaría orar hoy. en este espacio sagrado de amor, damos las gracias por todas las personas que están aquí. Damos las gracias por cada uno, por darnos la oportunidad de expresar nuestro genio. Damos las gracias a la reverenda Heidi, a la música tan linda que tenemos y a todos nosotros por abrir nuestros corazones a nuevas oportunidades. Le decimos gracias, gracias y así es. Amén. Y vamos a hacer sus capellanes hoy y estamos en el Salón Fillmore.
We are your prayer chaplains. I'm Rosie, this is Gabby, and Sue Ellen. We're here to pray with you today. We'll be just around the corner in the Fillmore room. We hold all of your prayers in confidentiality. Thank you.
Are you always? Okay. I don't know if which way. Now am I on? Now I'm on? Okay, great. All right. So I really want to honor our chaplains. They are here for the weekend for their training, and Reverend Patty Pipia is training them, and that they're giving up a week of their life to not only raise their spiritual prayer consciousness, but then through that, they're blessing this community wholly all year long. So I just really want to, we will have a ceremony for them next week, but I just want to thank our chaplains all over and the past chaplains. And wonderful, wonderful. All right, so it is that place of abundance that we're celebrating right now. And you know, sometimes when you feel that financial stuck place, you just keep swimming. And so we're giving from the place of inspiration and wellness. I do want to invite you all that you can certainly write a check, and that's great. Cash is great. You can give with a credit card over there on the wall. You can also become a part of our Abundant Living program. And Abundant Living is exactly what it sounds like. It is living from a sense of abundance. It's our recurring giving program that you sign up for online. And it is we have something like 60% of the congregation that's involved with the Abundant Living program right now. You can give any amount, but it's just giving on a regular basis. So we have we have an idea of what's happening. Let's see here. We're also having a party for the Abundant Living people, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But if you'd like to get an Abundant Living, we are always so blessed by your willingness to say yes. So if you'll put your hands together and put one of many, many channels of good, as I always say, into your hand, just know that is one of many, many channels of well-being. And so give from that sense of fullness and wellness, and let us say together our conscious giving blessing. Divine love richly flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful for the blessings of this day. I am grateful for the blessings on the way, and God is my source.
All right, higher ground. Back it up. All right. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Let's take it up. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings.
fantastic. Okay. So I'm reminded of, oh, you got that. Yes, those upper limit problems can feel like shark. But fish are friends, not food. That's right. All right. I was reminded of when I lived on Maui, being in this outfit. And we would give offering, and people would put in their favorite crystal, or they'd put in their favorite leaf they found somewhere. And I'm like, oh, this is going to work out real well. We're going to send this right to the electricity company. All right. You and your favorite crystal. It's great. All right. So we breathe into the joy of being abundant, the joy of giving, the joy of knowing that you are in the flow of all things possible. And so repeat after me. Gratitude is my way of being. Gratitude is my way of being. Generosity is how I live. Generosity is how I live. I live in my zone of genius. I live in my zone of genius. Now and forever. Now and forever. And no matter what. No matter what. I keep swimming. And so it is. All right. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Oh, fantastic. Okay. So, oh, so many good ocean songs. I love it. All right. So just a couple of things from the deep sea of Unity in Chicago. And first of all, do look at this back and forth, get a bunch of them, put it on your refrigerator, because that is what is going on. Let's see, I better get my, and then probably the bulletin over there too. We are, anything that from the gala that you did not pick up, all the raffle gifts are out there, so please pick them up, because you don't want them to go into the next thing that I'm going to tell you about, which is our Pay What You Can sale. So yeah, if you don't pick up your things, they're going right in the Pay What You Can sale. I'm kidding. November 20th, we are having a Pay What You Can sale. So look at your house, all those things that are clogging up the flow of your life. Glenn tells us about clutter, constantly letting unused things thwart experiencing richness. How did I remember that? But at the right time. Okay, so clutter, move it, bring it on in here for the next 2 Sundays, we have space in the shed where we can store your things. And on November 20th, we're having a Pay What You Can sale, and it's fantastic, raises money for the church, and you always find some treasure down there. So mark your calendars for that, bring your things. The last day to apply for the board, our Board of Trustees, this is the last day to turn in an application. We have some wonderful congregants that have said yes. We will be having our annual meeting on November 13th, so if you want an application, go downstairs. It's a wonderful commitment to unity. Again, Abundant Life members, we're having a reception on Friday, November the 11th, wine and cheese and beer and piano, and so please come for that. If you can still get in Abundant Life at any point, you can get online, and we're having a reception thanking our Abundant Life members. Seize the day. We're going on our cruise, January 22nd through the 29th. The weather is awful, but in the Caribbean, it's really nice. So we have about 25 of us are going. So if you want to go, my eyes are looking at you. I keep talking to her about the cruise. You're still welcome. The amount is due now, but for $1,000, you can go for a week on the Caribbean. It is a great, great experience. It's going to be a unity retreat. Okay, the garden sale is downstairs, the wreath sale. It seems early before Halloween to be talking about Christmas wreaths, but this is the last day to order them, and I believe we've got a little clip of Steve and Barbara, who have worked tirelessly to get the wreaths here for you all to purchase.
And we're rocking.
Trick or treat! Oh my gosh, it's Witch Barbara.
And it's Steve in a naughty hat, and you need a naughty hat because you're doing something downstairs before we've even gone trick or treating.
It's true.
Why?
Well, here's the facts, folks. The garden team is selling the wreaths. And oh my God, it's hard to believe this is the last Sunday.
Really?
Last Sunday, this is it, folks, if you haven't ordered now. And I know a lot of you wanted to order sooner, but you keep on putting it off. You cannot put it off any longer. This is it.
Really?
Really. Come on down, help support the Unity Gardens, buy your wreaths. This year we featured, you can ship them to family, friends, or business associates, and it's very minimal charge, and this is how we get our bulbs and all of our wonderful things for our garden. Please help us.
Okay, and I'll forgive you for selling this Christmas trees and ornaments, not ornaments, wreaths, before we've even gone trick or treating.
It's perfect. It's divine order.
See you downstairs.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, people doing, all right. So if you love our garden and if you want to have Christmas gifts for your friends, your family, it's a wonderful combination. All right, this Saturday, Joe Zephyrin is having an Honoring the Man Within men's retreat. This may be heterosexual men you're talking about, but he says it's the 4 B's. Balls, that all guys talk about are things that sports, balls and booze and broads, and what's the other one? Or business. So here's his shirt. They're doing it on, on Saturday is Honoring the Man Within. That's the Superman. So Joe Zephyrin this Saturday, go see him out there. And one more thing, our congregant, David Serta, has started many, many years ago a production company called Hell in a Handbag, totally living in his genius. And they have a play tonight, 6:30 in the attic of Hamburger Mary's, Scooby Don't. It's at 6:30, half the ticket price comes to the church. I have a cameo, yet another outfit today. It's a big day. And yes, so we have some clips from the cast of Scooby Don't that want to talk to you about tonight. It's movie day.
Jinkies, join us on a mystery to find our authentic selves at Scooby Doo.
Hey, Caitlyn Jenner, I'm backstage at Scooby Doo. It's a lot of fun. Get yourself a wacky mystery with the Scooby Gang and see for yourselves how authentically we're all living in this production. So come see, it's going to be a blast. See you later, ladies.
Unity Church, we're so excited to see you guys on Sunday, right, Scoob? You bet.
Can't wait for our special performance with Reverend Heidi.
Zoinks, man, it's going to be awesome.
All right, okay. So again, tickets, you just need to go straight there and get tickets now, 6:30 tonight. David Serta, thank you so much. There's David and Chris Yorex. All right. Okay, so without further ado, Kathy Mathis and the flower dedication. Aren't these flowers beautiful? Oh my gosh. All right. Whoops. Sorry, I can't walk very well as a fish. Now, let's see here. Anyway, there you go.
Okay, our beautiful flowers today are donated by Jenny Jackson Deal and Matt Deal in appreciation for the youth ministry. And I don't believe they're here, no. All right, well, anyway, of course, we love them and celebrate them. Their note says, keep having fun and spreading joy. So I think Lynn is working hard on that. So thank you. And of course, thank you to Jenny and Matt. If you would like to donate flowers, there are dates available in December, and you can stop by after the service and talk to Michael in the Sunshine Gallery. All right, if you are with us for the first time, we hope you are enjoying our service. We want to get to know you a little better. We want to give you a chance to ask us any questions you might have. So if you will raise your hand with me so our ushers can find you, we have a tiny little gift we'd like to share with you. First timers? All right. Well, even if somebody is shy, please know we want to get to know you better. And so all these wonderful people with the pink badges are part of our welcome team. They will be downstairs and at the base of the sanctuary stairs. You can stop by and talk to them. If you have any questions, you can stop by and talk to them. Also, we have a little yellow card if you'd like to sign up in private. You can do that as well so we can connect with you. And like I said, anybody who has any questions about Unity, please feel free to ask any of the welcome team. All right. A reminder to check our website, unitychicago.org, for the latest happenings and our business directory. Also be sure to like us on Facebook and stay in touch with us via our weekly e-blast. If you're not receiving the email, you can sign up at the base of the stairs. There's a little clipboard on the table there, so you can do that. And just a couple reminders for you. The pet ministry is here each Sunday with pets in need of foster or forever homes. And you can see Carol in the Sunshine Gallery for more information on that. Also, you can help support them by buying something to eat at their table in the Friendship Room. So, Great opportunities there. Reminder that the Honoring the Man Within Day Retreat is happening this Saturday, November 5th, 9 to 4. So Joe will be, I think, in the friendship. He's in the gallery. So anyway, stop by there to sign up for that. And a popular announcement that daylight saving time ends next Sunday, November 6th at 2 a.m. So be sure to roll your clocks back and fall back into bed for an extra hour of sleep before you come and join us here at Unity in Chicago. And now, let's welcome back Higher Ground.
First of all, I just want to make notice of how beautiful the choir looks in their fall colors. Second, the soloist for this service will be Melissa Murphy, and we also. In this announcement, we will be starting rehearsals for Christmas a week from tomorrow. So if you want to join us, we'd love to have you. 7 p.m. in the library.
I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river. I've got peace like a river in my soul. River in my soul. The river of peace is the gift we're bringing. The music of life is the bell we're ringing. So reach out and take your neighbor's hand, and together we will dance into the promised land. Lord, teach us to live, teach us to give, teach us all to move into the rhythm of peace. The rhythm of joy is the song we're sharing. The music of hope is the word that we're declaring. So reach out and take your neighbor's hand, and together we will dance into the promised land. Lord, teach us to live, teach us to give, teach us all to move into the rhythm of peace. Can you hear it in the laughter of the children? Can you feel it when you move to a friend? Can you feel it in the beating of your heart? Let the celebration start and never end. Teach us to give. Teach us the rhythm of peace. Teach us all the rhythm of peace. Go House!
Talk about lifelong learners. Teach us to live, teach us to give, right? All right, so let's all stand up and we can say, I am a lifelong learner. Together? I am a lifelong learner. And where our other one is, I commit to live in my zone of genius now and forever. I commit to live in my zone of genius now and forever. And thank you, Scotty Zocker and the Higher Ground. Oh my gosh, what a treat. So let's weave ourselves out of here and do your thing.